Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day it is. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Dr. Don. For your first-time viewers, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like most of you out there about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals and about whatever it is that we have decided to talk about tonight. And I always smile at the intro because I've done it a million times and I still blow it. The title of tonight's show is The Cougar and Crow Band. The Cougar and Crow Band. And somewhere along the way we'll find out which is Cougar and which is Crow. And interesting how I met my guests tonight. We always start off with how we're feeling. I'm kind of nervous, and I'm always nervous when I start a show. I've been doing it for years and years, especially when the guests are as talented as you are. I'm more nervous. How are you feeling right now, Kent?
Also a little bit nervous, but good. Ready to chat and then play some music for you.
Landon, how about yourself? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Having a good day.
You that nervous? I don't believe you.
Oh, I'm just incredibly nervous. I'm just hiding it well. Just
I don't want to be
going insane right now.
Okay. So we're going to have a good time tonight. And you've got a rather unique musical arrangement here with the instruments you've got, which we'll get to later on. I've not quite seen this before, and I'm intrigued. And I heard a sampling of your work before you were invited on the show. And I'm curious to hear what else you're going to be doing during the course of the second half of the show as you play music for our viewers. So, as you know, the first half of the show is going to be about who you are personally and those kind of questions about where you came from in school or whatever else that comes to mind. And this is a joint effort here, and if there's something I say to you that doesn't make sense, well, just say so, because we want to make a good show depending on how comfortable we are. And I'm nervous again. Did you see me nervous?
No, you're good. You got it.
So who shall be my first victim? I mean, who should I talk to first?
Go ahead and pick me.
He volunteers.
Kent. And interesting, that name, Kent Nightingale. How'd you come to a name like that?
Well, my first name was picked by my father, and my grandfather had a friend in the neighborhood named Kent. So I was named after my grandfather's friend, and recently when I visited my uncle, he told me a little anecdote about my grandfather and this Kent guy. And incidentally, I did meet this Kent guy once when I was about 6, but they would have this little phrase. They'd be on the deck or whatever having a beer in the afternoon and say, "Can you press another one down?" And say, well, I suppose I could press another one down. So anyway, that's where Kent comes from, and anyway.
And the last name, Nightingale.
My grandfather was born in Montreal, but I don't know too much beyond that. If the name.
It's a charming name.
Thank you. I'm not sure if it was translated from another language at one point or if it had been, from the English language for a long time. But thanks.
Yeah. And when and where were you born?
I was born in September of 1983. Yeah. Yeah, born in San Francisco. For a long time, for about 20 years, my dad had a flat in San Francisco near Golden Gate Park. He lived on the second story of this flat.
What a place to live, huh?
Yeah, I didn't live there all the time with him. I went there to visit him, but this was the house that I was kind of born into, so to speak, and it's still still a special place to me. Only when I was about 25 did I go back to San Francisco after a long time of not going there, and kind of go walk past the apartment again. And
Sentimental feelings come up?
you know, a little bit. But it was interesting too, because I walked past the gate, and at the same time I saw somebody else going into the gate. So it's kind of not just, I couldn't imagine that it was still my home. This is clearly somebody else's home. They're walking up the gate.
What are you doing in my home? You ready for your first trick question? I always have a trick question.
Oh, I've got a lot of trick answers, so this might be good.
Ready?
Yeah.
Why were you born?
Why was I born?
I asked you first.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Dr. Don, but my parents had sex.
Oh! Wonderful. Okay. Excellent. That's a good answer. And anything significant about your national or cultural heritage, or you're just plain old American white bread?
Let's see. As I told you, my grandfather on my father's side, born in Montreal. My grandmother from that side, from Great Britain. And on my mother's side, also some French Canadian, and then European, Dutch, but my mom has recently been getting into researching genealogy, but I haven't really dug into it too deep for myself.
Well, my kids drive me nuts. They're into it heavy duty, and I don't care. Okay, thank you, I don't care. And it's a fun thing, people, and some people are curious, and I'm not that curious about it, for me personally.
Sure.
So, religious preference, do you have one? Or did you ever have one? Or is that an appropriate question for you?
Oh, I'd be fine to talk about that for a moment.
Sure.
I was more or less raised without religion, except for the fact that we're all kind of born into a culture where we're surrounded by religion in some way or another, and kids at school may be religious and they'll say, you believe in God or whatever. But so I went to church only a couple of times growing up with friends. Say I went to a sleepover at a friend's house or something, and then I guess in my 20s I got interested in spirituality a little bit, particularly after my father died, and did a little bit of took a class in college approaching the Bible as literature, because I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about this culture that's all around me all the time.
Sure.
And have sort of taking an interest in the spiritual in general. A lot of times that's linked to some of the Eastern religions.
Yes.
So so I've learned a little bit about some of that, but I guess ultimately my preference for myself is to try to base my beliefs as much as possible in my firsthand experience. Yeah.
I'm a humanist, could you tell?
I've heard the word before, but I don't actually know. I can't recall specifically what the term means. Humanist.
More a philosophy than a religion, as such. We like to say we're a-religious by and large. We're called agnostics or skeptics or even atheists. Or atheist would be a better word, because atheist is a pejorative,
Right.
The very Christian people like to say things bad about people like me who have no religious affiliation. I was a Roman Catholic altar boy for many, many years. And you're next, I'm going to issue you with the same question. So would you characterize yourself now as no religion or atheistic or agnostic or what? Or none of the above?
I guess kind of none of the above.
Yeah.
Sort of for the same reason that you bring up, is that even in being an atheist, which maybe you could almost say non-identified or something, but then you're identified as,
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess ultimately in all of the serious questions, I like to take them not too seriously. So it's like there's not too much to get offended by if you don't take it too seriously, you know.
Yeah, yeah. What do you mean by spiritual?
By spiritual,
Yeah. Because people oftentimes say that, I always ask the same question because it means different things for different people.
When I say spiritual, I guess I mean the parts of life that make an impact on you in some deep fashion, whether it's a dream or a experience of love or a connection to nature or any of those kinds of experiences that bring you some kind of passion or something.
The Bay Area influence comes out in your answers to some of my questions. The left bank of the U.S. of A. Like, anyhow, you know where I'm going with that. Yeah, hippies. And your formal education.
My formal education, I graduated from high school in Beaverton at a small magnet school that focused on science and technology, which is a little bit funny because here I am, a musician that doesn't know more about a computer than the next guy. But from there, I went on to study music at Oregon State University in Corvallis for a couple of years and had some good mentors and professors there, and then I finished my bachelor's degree at PSU, continuing to study music. PSU had some jazz education that I couldn't have gotten in Corvallis, and then it was actually kind of a nice dovetail into leaving college because I was already in a city with a lot happening musically. So I sort of started my music career before I finished my education, in the sense of performing with people in clubs and stuff like that.
And you're still learning.
Oh yeah.
What do you do to pay the bills nowadays? What kind of work do you don't have enough gigs to pay the bills and pay the rent, do you?
No. I currently
no names of corporations or anything, just
sure. Yeah, I currently work in a store that sells sheet music. Yeah. And
that's where I met you.
Yeah.
And you were such a gentle soul. Just talking to you about anything, I said, I got to have this guy to talk to my viewers. Easy to hang out with. Yeah. And how do you see the future? You're going to go on The Voice or on television and compete and make a big star out of yourself or something?
Well, I wouldn't rule it out. You know, it's not completely up to me. It's partly up to chance and some other things. But it's taken me several years since leaving the academic environment to kind of reclaim my passion for music. It's something that's not always easy to explain, but
sure.
And I think a lot of people, if they've done the thing of going through a formal education, they finish that, and then they're a little bit bewildered because they may have placed some expectations on themselves.
May have.
And so only now am I seeing that, oh yeah, hey, it's, a musician is a profession, and a lot of people in our culture might kind of discount the arts as a means for making a living, but it just requires being adaptive and having a broad frame of mind about being able to be a teacher, being open to taking different types of jobs and not being too attached to any particular style of doing things.
Yeah, because of your love of music and art.
Yeah, and it's fun to take on new challenges and work with people cooperatively, or, to be out there interacting in the world and not just be this artist that, sometimes people might have this view of an artist as somebody that locks themselves away and just creates out of their own brilliance, but I really find that creativity comes through interacting with the world. And
Sure.
so.
Yeah, a couple more questions. We've got to leave some time here for Landon. We're going to pick him next.
Okay.
A couple more. I have a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Any of those? Do you have any of those?
I don't have a serious long-term partner. Right.
Okay. And children?
No children.
Okay.
No children.
Memberships in political, social, or civic organizations. You belong to the Tea Party or the ACLU or anything like that?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. One more question. Persons in your past or alive today that you particularly admire or look up to, any names come to mind for you?
You said that are alive today?
Or from the past, either one.
Oh, either. Yeah, well, I mentioned that when I was in Corvallis studying music, that I was fortunate enough to have some good mentors, and yeah, in particular, I had a professor named Bob in Corvallis, and I got to know him on a one-to-one level because I took private instruction on drum set. But he also taught some group piano classes, ear training, concert band, and he got me into playing percussion and like symphonic wind ensemble and doing things that I never would have seen myself doing when I was playing the guitar by myself in my room while I was in high school, and really, really recognized that I was a hard worker that could, that could learn this stuff, because I didn't have a much of a music background, academic music background before college. I didn't, I was learning it all then, and so anyhow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Can we switch over here to Landon?
Absolutely.
You ready for me?
I'm ready.
I bet you are.
So ready.
Yeah. If I would ask your best friend, who is Landon? What would your best friend say? Be your best friend. Landon is what?
All right. Well, sometimes a little bit reclusive, antisocial. That's not everything that I am. Doesn't define who I am, but it's often a noticeable trait is that I'm a sort of a typical introvert where I get fueled up by the time alone and the time to reflect on, so it's like go out, do something, have fun, but get out of there when I need to. And
you're telling me your impression of you. Your best friend is supposed to be speaking to me
well,
now.
my friend becomes aware of that after inviting me out all the time. And
okay, he's got an answer for me. Trick question. And when and where were you born?
I was born in Winona, Minnesota in
Minnesota.
August of 1991. Can you see an accent at all? Can you hear it? No.
See if you. Never mind.
I just scoop my O's, but I don't. I guess I've lived out here long enough that I don't as much. But.
Yeah. And did you tell me when? What year was it? Maybe I missed
1991.
91. Oh, you're a youngster.
I'm a baby.
I was born in 1928.
1928.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
I don't know. I asked you about your cultural racial heritage, and before the cameras came on, you said there's nothing significant going on there.
Irish is a big thing, like post-potato famine kind of moving to the United States, I think is a big part.
Yeah. Jenkinson. Where's that name from?
I think it probably was originally like Jenkins, like either a British or an Irish, and then moving to, the upper Midwest where it's just Scandinavians everywhere. You just have to you have to be a Jenkins son. I think that's at least what my great grandpa used to say. Is they added the O-N later.
Okay. A religious preference. You ever have one of those?
Religious preference. Well, I was raised evangelical Christian for a long time, fairly conservative, pretty strict in some senses, but also feeling a strong spirituality from it that I have since left the church and the faith per se, but I still feel a strong spiritual reality in myself that continues on outside of it, of just a connectedness to.
What does spiritual mean for you? What does that term mean for you?
I think an important word for me is connectedness. And seeing that you're a part of something that's way bigger than yourself all the time. It's not me and what I'm doing. It's that, you know, all of us together here on Earth, you know.
You guys were talking to each other before you came here, weren't you?
We happen to be somewhat like-minded. It works out pretty well.
Yeah, I like that. That fits for me too, what you described. Mm-hmm. And I've heard all sorts of definitions of spiritual and spirituality, but this is your show, so we won't talk about my views of it right now. Yeah. And do you have a religious preference nowadays or not? Just a spiritual?
Essentially, what I said, that I don't like to arrive at conclusions about what, you know, a deity would look like or what it would think, what it would feel like. But I love to imagine. I love to imagine what, you know, the fabric of the universe could be, and imagine it in different.
Imagine all those people. I'd like to be a singer one day too, as you discover.
A John Lennon cover.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs of all time. Yeah. We talked about your education, not yet, huh?
No, my education is pretty limited because I graduated from high school and then started working right away, and that was it. I think around the time that I graduated, I was pretty focused on music even then, and I wasn't ready to go leap into more school. It wasn't. It didn't feel right for me, and it still really doesn't. I still feel sort of like there's other things that I want to be doing with my time. But learning is so important.
Oh yeah,
for me.
I'm still in school. I just registered at PSU a couple of days ago again, adult education stuff, and I have a student card for PCC, Portland Community College, and I'll be 120 years old and still in school some sort of way or another. I love it. Always to keep learning. Yeah. And how do you make a living nowadays?
Right now I'm a house painter, so got the big van, and I drive around Portland, and you know I get to be outside a lot and out in nature, making things look pretty. So it's hard to complain a lot of the time. You know?
Do you do good work?
Whoa! I got put on the spot. I try
of course you
my
do.
very best. I try my very hardest.
How long have you been doing that?
2 years now. So it's still somewhat new to me, but familiar.
And it's putting food on the table.
It's putting food on the table, you know, keeping me busy in a very real sense.
What's your wife say about your
My wife? Well, my wife does not.
Do you got one of those or not?
My wife, no. No, I'm single.
Yeah. Are you involved with a woman? You're engaged or anything like that?
No, not engaged.
Are you available for the woman?
I'm available. I am available.
Oh, look at that comment and tell people.
I'm available. in that tone. I'm available.
Yeah. And political persuasion. Are you left, right, or center, or what?
Oh, it's all directional. It's all binary, and.
Some say it's more than binary. It's other directions too. Yeah, you don't want to answer that?
Yeah, no. I really don't like politics that much, but if I were like forced, you know, choose, I would be a little left probably. But it's not. My opinions aren't. I don't have the strongest convictions in a political way. It's more of an ethical. You know.
I've had a lifetime of that sort of a thing, so I'm very political. And did I ask you your political persuasion or not?
No, you didn't. No.
Okay, I want to see if you think like Landon. Where are you? Are you left, right, or center? Where on the continuum
Well,
are you?
I sort of when Landon said, well, do we only get two choices, or do we get one line of a continuum? Because sometimes it seems like the issue isn't so much of whether it's left or right, but whether we have ideas that make sense, or whether these ideas just don't add up, and we need to find some better ideas that are going to serve us better. But anyhow. Because there's politicians on both sides of the so-called spectrum that are good politicians and that are, maybe not doing the best job. So.
I would be better in the future when I ask that question to sort of say, I don't necessarily mean political, just generally speaking, are you left, right, or center?
It's not purely a question of like Democratic Republican dynamic.
Right. Okay. So thank you. I learned something new tonight. So.
Well, I'm right-handed.
That's good enough.
It's a chirality question. Which side do you favor?
And
then I'd be right-handed too. That would be my answer.
How many children do you have?
I have 0 children.
Okay.
And I would not be able to take very good care of them right now, so it's really good that I only have 0.
We were serious for too long. I had to be silly for a while. And the persons from the past are alive today that you look up to or admire. Any names come to mind?
Man, I am a very big fan of like astrophysics and biology, and so Carl Sagan is one of my one of my top.
Me too.
You like Carl Sagan too?
Oh, you betcha.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Those kinds of minds, and Albert Einstein, and the whole range of folks like that whose brain is so big it hurts me to even look at it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I admire people who are smart enough and people who are not afraid to share their reality and invite people to see who they really are. Yeah, that's my psychologist sneaking in there.
You're welcome to sneak psychology in whenever you feel like it.
I'm enjoying you guys so much, but maybe we should take a break and then come back and let you do your thing over there so we can hear you play some stuff for us.
All right.
Break, Mr. Director. Okay, nurse? We're back. Thanks for staying tuned. And for you viewers who missed the opening of the show, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like most of you out there about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals and about whatever it is we've decided to talk about tonight. The title of tonight's show is The Cougar and Crow Band. And the guests are Kent Nightingale. Hold your hand up, Kent. And Landon Jenkinson, I think. Okay.
The remaining person.
So what are you going to play for us tonight? You can talk about what you're going to play anytime you want to, but let's take over, and I might join in somewhere along the way, but it's your show now.
Alrighty. Well, I'm Kent, and this is Landon, and we are Cougar and Crow.
Who's Cougar and who's Crow?
Well, it's not quite like that. It's a little bit more conceptual, and we might from time to time need to trade our spirit animal, just depending on our needs. By the way, is this mic stand?
It's on.
Is it in view? Should I move it because it's, or perhaps I need to move my chair?
We'll be okay.
We'll be okay.
We're okay.
All right. Okie doke. Well, yeah. So this band came about because Landon and I are both songwriters, and I had a gig lined up in late December, and I thought, you know what, it'd be a lot more fun if I had another musician playing with me who had some great songs as well, and so here we are.
And they're all original songs.
They're all original songs.
Oh, I'm anxious to hear. Now, you see you're clear, and the mic stand isn't in your way now.
All right, wonderful, wonderful.
Okay, so what's the first piece you're going to do, and if you have any words about it, or are you just going to go into it?
Well, this first song is called California Coast, and I wrote it last June. I was taking a road trip as I do from time to time, and visited a friend in Mendocino County. We were camping out on his land, and he had to go back to work, and so I had a day to sit around and write songs, and kind of wrote this in sort of in dedication to my friends, and it's my Hallmark card to the California coast.
All right, let's hear it.
Somewhere on the California coast, somewhere on the California coast, somewhere on the California coast, there's a special place for me. Somewhere the trees grow tall, somewhere the trees grow tall, somewhere the trees grow tall, they whisper all day long. Oh, don't you tell me that I won't go. No, don't you send me to San Francisco. Oh, won't you grant me my own blue sea? Just one hillside is all I need. The roads, oh, they wind. The roads, oh, they wind. The roads, oh, they wind. Yeah, we'll get there when it's time. There are days when all is gray. There are days the fog won't break. There are days when all is gray. We don't mind, let it rain. Oh, don't you tell me that I won't go. No, don't you send me to San Francisco. Oh, won't you grant me my own blue sea? Just one hillside is all I need. California coast. Somewhere on the California coast. Somewhere on the California coast. Pack your bags, come on, let's go. Pack your bags, come on, let's go.
You put me back on Highway 1. Very nice to hear. Yeah, you guys sound good.
Thank you.
You bet. So what else you got for us?
All right. Play 4 is 5, you think?
I think we should.
All right, let's do it.
Do you want to tell our viewers a little bit about the song?
Well, this song, I wrote it after following a text message, you know, the modern origin of a song. Kent and I were planning on a practice, and it was before daylight savings in the spring. So we were trying to figure out what time we were gonna meet up. It was like, oh well, we'll meet up at 4, or were we meeting up at 5? I don't even remember now.
I guess it was 5. We were springing forward.
We were springing forward, so
Yeah.
we're meeting up at 5, but 4 is 5 now. So.
And
So the song is, at this point, it's just about the progression of time and how one thing.
You could say, hey Landon, what time it is, and he'd say, well, you mean you want like a design of the clock, and then he'd write you a whole song about it.
the origination of the sundial or something.
Break it down into its nuts and bolts. And
So this is your composition.
yes, this one is. I'll intro it here. Just because you say so. 4 is 5. Can't believe you haven't heard. 4 is 5. We observe the march of time. 4 is 5. Springing forward all our lives, spring forward. And now, safe to say that the yam on the deck is rotting away.
I was thrown back to the Simon and Garfunkel days.
I thought very much about Paul Simon when I wrote that song. Wrote it in.
It's very, very tender, very nice. I like it. Yeah. You got some more like that?
We got some more similar and different. Which one do you want to play next year, Kent?
Let's play. Play One Life. How does that sound
Let's
to
do it.
you?
That sounds
good.
great.
Delightful what you're doing.
All right. Well, this is said that the last composition of mine that we played was my Hallmark card to the California coast, and I guess this is my Hallmark card to just being happy in your everyday activities, however mundane they may seem or routine. You can drive your car to work. It's the only sun you'll see today, and it's worth it. So you call just to say it's a beautiful day. How are you? I'm good too. Now let's play. Come along, we're going to the park. We're gonna swing on the monkey bars and roll around in the dirt. One life, one life is enough if you live it right. Don't try too hard. Yeah, you're on your computer. You're connected to the whole world. You've got power and time, 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 time. Who are you? Who are you? Do people know that you care? That you're there when they need you? One life, one life is enough if you live it right. Don't try too hard, too hard.
Mellow. Oh, you guys are so cool. Really, very nice. Yeah.
Well,
What else you got?
yeah. What's
Feeling a
what's
Corvid's
what's
bite?
cooking in your kitchen?
You like the Corvid's bite a little bit?
Sure.
All right, this song's part of the crow motif that I like to work into my songwriting. I recorded an album with a friend who lives back in Minnesota. We actually recorded it over the internet, sending the files back and forth. And this is one of the songs that was on that album. And it's about literally me being bitten on the finger by a corvid, which is a bird in the crow genus.
Uh-huh.
And,
Bit you on the finger.
Yeah. I was trying to shoo it out. I was up on Mount Hood at Timberline Lodge, and it was caught inside, and I was like trying to
That's in Oregon, of
grab it.
course.
I was just used to grabbing birds and letting them go, and it just nope, don't do that. Bit me
Okay.
on the finger. So that's what this song is basically chronicling that.
Uh-huh.
So you ready, Kent?
Mhm.
All right. On the side of a mountain wide, assuming that my head's on right, suffering from that corded spine, I was warned. Though it was such a pretty sight, flying in the summer's light, nutcrackers were too uptight, and I was warned. You were poking at the glass. I didn't think I acted fast to save you from some in your face. I grabbed you, set you free. In the Cascade Mountain Range, just thinking that it's softly strange. Nutcrackers are mountain-dwelling crows. Yeah, mountain-dwelling crows. It's all you can. Way up high on Mount Hood, we were high on Mount Hood. Way up high on Mount Hood, high on Mount Hood, high on Mount Hood. We were high on Mount Hood, way up high on Mount Hood. We were high on Mount Hood, way up high on Mount Hood. We were high on Mount Hood, way up high on Mount Hood. We were high.
Oh, that was even better than the others, man. I like that. I like that. Yeah, so mellow. We've got maybe 5 or 6 minutes more time left for you guys to
All right.
play. 2 short songs or 1 longer one, or what's your pleasure?
You got one?
I'd like to play a song called "Ride with Me." This is a song that's different than my others in that my mother wrote the lyrics while she was traveling with her fiance, and then asked me if I would compose the music to it. And
Wonderful.
So it's a different creative process, and in some ways fun because this song is in a little bit different. I'd never written a song in this style before, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And I got to just be kind of free with that.
Uh-huh.
They sometimes say that having limitations in art fuels creativity, and so this could be an example of that.
I like that big guitar you've got.
Yeah,
Adorable.
I like to assert my masculinity in socially appropriate ways, and you might be walking through the forest, and there might be predators around. They see a purple ukulele, and they're, that means they better stay away.
Get out of there, yeah.
I would.
It's for the best.
I got me a truck and it's got a bench seat, so ride beside my baby and we can get sweet. Your head on my shoulder, oh, that lilac perfume. Memory keeps me awake at night alone in my room. Baby, ride with me. I have no place to go. I have no place to be. I just want you right beside me with your hand on my knee. I'll pack us a picnic, you're the apple of my eye, and when the sun goes down, we'll take a moonlit drive. You can pick the highways and the back roads too. Sit beside me always, oh, pretty please do. Baby, ride with me. I have no place to go. I have no place to be. I just want you right beside me with your hand on my knee. We'll play a little guitar for these folks. Hop up in the cab, hun, I can give you a boost. But Lord help me if your pants down loose. You knock me out with those legs stretched out long. Your head on my shoulder, oh, they're playing our song. I just want you right beside me with your hand on my knee.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. My director's going to yell at me because we ran out of time. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed these guys as much as I did. And remember KFC, I got to remind you of KFC, not Kentucky Fried Chicken, Dr. Don's KFC. Kind, friendly, and charitable. Be kind. Be friendly and be charitable to you too. And you too. And you too, Kent.
Thank you, Don.
And you too, nurse. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.